But as nobody was surprised to see, there's another level. I don't think I need any of these. Oh, wait, no. I know I don't need anything, but I'm gonna grab anyway. And get ready for Gates, the level. Because that's the theming for this level. You go through a lot of gates. I guess the idea is that what you're approaching is really locked away, but good god, it's annoying. And boring. I mean, it's supposed to build suspense, I guess, but my suspense has already been suspended. Now I just want to get it over with. Oh, and it's not over with yet. Yes. So this is gonna be kind of reminiscent of Mega Man 2's last stage and Mega Man 4's last stage, with the long, like, corridor to the secret exit. Just a couple of enemies sprinkled here and there. And then a forced rush jet, or rush coil section for whatever reason. And then this room is just strangely designed, I don't know why. I'm flabbergasted. And here we have the final boss, which is a term I use loosely. It's Zero! You have to fight Zero, yes. But here's the trick to it. You don't have to beat him. In fact, you can't beat him. In fact, you can't die, as far as I can tell. He has no health bar. No attacks damage him. They just bounce off of him, no matter what you use. And he's super fast, super difficult. But, you know, there's nothing to this. I mean, okay, the first time you fight him, you're probably gonna be stressed out as hell, being like, oh my god, what do I do? He's invincible, and it's really fun. But then after that, when you realize that you don't have to do anything, there's no challenge to it. I mean, I can't even describe it as easy. There's literally no challenge because you can't lose. So why bother trying? In which case, this just becomes a waste of time for any player, because any other time that they enter this room, they're just gonna try and get damage as quickly as possible and get it over with. This feels like a bad attempt to turn Mega Man into Half-Life, which is not a good idea in my opinion, especially as the last thing in the game. I mean, this is the final boss fight, and it's one that I have to win by just taking damage for a little bit. That's really, really underwhelming, and kind of defeats the purpose of having a final level, one that you can't lose. I mean, why not have it like the Proto Man fight, where you have to damage Zero to like just a little bit, or like to a certain degree. Alright, I can't attack because I lost my Buster Arm. Or even better yet, have it like the base fight in Mega Man Network Transmission, where, you know, he's an unstoppable killing machine, so you can't kill him. You can only damage him to like maybe half health, and then the fight's over. Like, you could have done that, but then at least the players have to do something. In this case, they don't have to do anything, so why bother with it at all? And that's really the thought that is going to be going through any player's head the next time they play this game. Why bother with this fight? They're just going to try and get damage as quickly as possible and then run. So that's what I have to say about ending the game with that kind of fight. As for the exploding sequence with the no Buster Arm thing, I think the whole not having a Buster Arm thing is too mature, M-rated for a Mega Man game. It really doesn't fit. And I mentioned before with the title screen, the whole battle-damaged Mega Man thing just seems too transparent of an attempt to be hardcore. So I don't really like it. And they don't really do much with it. I mean, hell, here's another idea. Have the final boss kind of like the final boss of Ikaruga. If you've ever played that for arcade, I think it was on Dreamcast and GameCube as well. It's a shooter, a shmup game, if you will, where the final boss is one where you can't attack it at all. You just have to survive. So it's timed, it goes through very different shot patterns, and you just have to be able to survive the fight. That would have been a much better final boss fight against Zero than what was in this game, because then the player still has to do something. The player has to have some kind of input, and they have to think about the enemy's pattern. I mean, why program a pattern into a boss if it doesn't mean anything? Like, the player doesn't have to get used to it, the player doesn't have to respond to it, the player doesn't have to react to it. It's just there. So that doesn't really make much sense. To me, anyway. And I think it's a very, very sour way to end the game. And incredibly underwhelming. I mean, the last thing you do in the game is get your ass kicked, and you don't have to win. It doesn't work for a Mega Man game, in my opinion. If this was Half-Life and you wanted an interactive cutscene, then sure, but no, it doesn't work. So we have a bit of a sour ending here. You know, nothing's really solved. Zero's still out there somewhere. Wily got away, but at least Roll's happy. She looks cute. And I really do like the attention that went into the art here. But overall, I guess we're done with this game. So, wrap-up thoughts. Again, I have a lot of respect for Megaphil and his team. I do think that, in comparison to all of the other fan games that I've ever played, this is by far the best. By far the best in terms of presentation, by far the best in terms of... still the best in terms of design, even with some of its more crippling flaws. Now, I know that he's already responded to some of the complaints, and that he's working on the next patch for the game. Oh, I'm sorry. And that the next patch of the game, certain things will be changed up. First thing, checkpoints. Okay, that's appreciated. It was obvious, and it shouldn't have been. It should have been that way in the beginning. But yeah, checkpoints right in front of the bosses in the Wily stages are very much appreciated. Maybe more checkpoints in the regular stages just to balance out the length of them would be nice. I mean, if you're gonna have stages that are that long, then either put more checkpoints, or maybe don't do the whole, you know, you start with 2 lives thing that is common in the other Mega Man games. Because 2 lives is something that was balanced for the length of the stages in those games, not for the length of the stages in these games. So either more checkpoints or more lives would really help balance those stages out. Secondly, an easy mode is coming. And that's one that's going to be similar to the Mega Man 10 easy mode in that it's going to have platforms over some of the perilous death pits or spike traps, as well as enemies doing less damage. Now, I've seen a lot on the Facebook page specifically that whenever somebody complains about the design of this game or says that it's too hard, a lot of people say, if you don't like it, go play easy mode. First off, to those people, don't be a fucking asshole. I mean, seriously, that's... Somebody has a legitimate complaint about a design of the game, and you're just like, you're not hardcore enough for us, but just don't be a dick. And secondly, and most importantly, easy mode is no substitution for a poorly designed and balanced game. The whole point of easy mode in Mega Man 10 was to have a kind of a beginner's mode for people who have not really played Mega Man games before. It wasn't just, you know, the easier mode of the game, it was kind of a trainer. That's why they had all the little platforms over the spike pits, so that you don't have to keep learning how to do those platforming segments so crushingly. It's to get you used to the controls and used to how the game plays, more so than it is just the easy version of the game. And here it's the same thing. If you put platforms over all the perilous pits, all you're doing is removing half of the game, because you're removing all the platforming challenges. And so, you know, when you say, oh, you should go play easy mode if you think regular mode is too hard, then all you're saying is you should go play half of a game. And that doesn't really make much sense. It's no substitution for just balancing the game better. And balancing the game better would benefit everybody. The whole point of making this game accessible is that you want it to be accessible to as many people as possible. That's why he's also adding a hard mode, or a one-hit death mode, for all the masochists who, you know, think they're so cool and will want to play through that. I will never attempt it. I don't hate myself that much, but, you know, maybe you guys do. But yeah, so you have that to appease the hardcore players, and you have easy mode to appease new players. And I'm specifying this, it should be for new players, not for players who just think that the regular game is too hard, because that's a legitimate issue and a legitimate concern. But even then, I don't think easy mode is really necessary, because, well, let's deal with it. No new player to the series is going to start with this game. That's just not something that's going to happen. So I don't know really who easy mode is going to be appealing to, because regular, like, Mega Man players or seasoned Mega Man players, they're not going to want to play easy mode, even if they think that normal mode is too hard, just because of the stigma attached to it. I can predict this already. So yeah, easy mode is... I don't know how appreciated it will be. I don't know if there's any point to it altogether, but at least it's an acknowledgement that there are some major issues in this game. Like I mentioned in my very long Rainbow Man video, I do think that he should just be redesigned entirely. That whole level should be gutted. You can, you know, add in all the checkpoints you want, and you can slow down the speed of the lasers all you want, but the entire level is still going to be not fun. And that's the worst thing that you can say about a Mega Man level, when it's not fun. And it's not going to be fun. It's just going to be repetition, it's going to be memorization, it's going to be doing the same thing over and over again with only one solution. And there's no point to it. and it's still going to be the level that any player is going to hate the most, and any level that any player is going to dread playing the most, and any level that's going to stand out most from all the others in the game for just being really not fun. So yeah, I know it's a lot of work, and I doubt that MegaPhil and his team would ever want to revisit and build something up from scratch, but really I think that's the only solution to the Rainbow Man problem. Because no matter how you rebalance it, it's not going to be any good. I'm sorry to say, I don't have any faith that you can make it a well-designed stage by rebalancing it. But aside from that, you know, the soundtrack for the most part is very good, visuals are very good, control feels nice. I do think that they should put the charge shot back in this game. I think it was planned at some point, or was planned to be unlockable or something like that. The game feels like it's designed around the charge shot, just it won't take a lot to code in. You could probably just flick a little switch in your debugger box, and everybody will have the charge shot. The enemies are already all coded around it. The bosses have invincibility frames based around the charge shot, so that's already done. And it would make a lot of the boss fights half the length, half the ridiculous length, if you could use the charge shot. So that's something that I would throw in myself. And again, checkpoints before the boss fights in the Wily stages, that's already something that's going to be done, so nothing to worry about there. All in all, like I said before, very positive game. For the most part, it's still the best design that I've played in terms of fan games. It does have a lot of issues, some of which are really, really bad and that really need attention. But it's still a very good game. And I know I've been very critical throughout this, but I do really appreciate it, and I do really like it, and I do really think it's very well done for the most part. The whole idea of me being critical is that I want people to think more about the design, because Mega Man as a series to me has always been about well thought out design, and knowing the players and knowing their expectations, and being able to kind of understand the psychology of a player in the level design. That's what Mega Man represents to me as a series. So when I play all these other fan-made games that completely miss the point and do nothing but throw enemies on the screen in random spots and don't really think about the level design at all, that upsets me. So this game initially very much impressed me with how well it understood the psychology of a Mega Man player, but then it completely fell flat in other areas in regards to that, so that was disappointing. But among all the disappointments, still, definitely check this out, or you can wait until the next patch and, you know, attempt the easy mode if you're too worried about it. But it's a very nice game. Congratulations, MegaPhil. I'd say it's a success overall. It does have its detractions, but I'm sure that you'll perfect it in the future in some way or another. So congrats. Thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for playing, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.